Hey, I'm a pretty poor guy. About 20 plus years ago, I bought and sold some land, and it was extremely profitable. That was a long time ago. Um, I don't have money, and right now I've got like $4,800 to my name. I don't claim to be a land baron, but I can tell you some undeniable tips. I like to take a trip. Tips that have always proven to be 100% accurate on looking for land. And I look basically every day, and I have for years. And these are in no particular order, things that are irreducibly, insanely helpful. And this was also true when I bought my house in Florida. Is you kindly knock on neighbors' doors around the land or the piece of property, and you just introduce yourself. You be sweet as sugar, yeah? And if you have to, you even offer to give someone a $10 bill. On a piece of land or property, both, and I've done this at my house in Florida when I bought it after my wife died ages ago, and I did this on my cabin and my farm. You talk to people, what they know, who they know, whatever, and it is so incredibly useful. Realtors don't represent you. They don't really give a damn about you. They care about their commission, and they care about pleasing their seller. They will tell you, and lie to you, that they represent you and the seller. They don't. They absolutely don't. Make sure you have mineral rights. Make sure that it is or is not in a floodplain. Make sure that there's no particular issues associated with the land that are going to come back and bite you in the fanny. The most important tip, however, if you're somebody like me that's a poor schmuck and you're looking for a good piece of land that is a good size, 10 plus acres. 10 acres, as long as it has trees. People say, well, there's plenty of flat land in America. You talk like it's rare. I'm like, yeah, but most of the flat land in the United States is, a lot of it anyway, is, flat western land, Colorado, Utah, Idaho, California. It's wasteland. You mean like, oh my God, 2 miles off in the distance, there's a tree. I mean, you could buy cheap flat land. Even that stuff isn't cheap anymore, but you can't live off of it. Not really. One of the great things about Kentucky, also too, I don't like Tennessee, but Tennessee, parts of Georgia, there's tons of trees, there's tons of animals. My farm is swarming with deer and wild turkey, and there's all sorts of stuff that you could pop, to eat. And so, flat land like that is kind of rare out here, but the number one secret that I've found, and I don't know a better one, if you're, someone that doesn't have money like me, you say you have between $20,000 and $60,000 to work with, you're looking for a decent sized piece of land, 10 plus acres. The way I've found to find the very best land, and this is no joke because these examples apply to me, applies to my farm in southwestern Kentucky, is that it is superficially ugly. And here's the thing, I'll just give you my land, my farm as an example. When you pull up, my farm has 2 access points, but when you pull up, since it's been overgrown for a while, it is superficially really ugly. It's like, oh my God, there's just brush here, and just what a nightmare, and oh my God, You go onto Google Earth, also too, by the way, and of course you need to walk the land. That's one of the most important things you need to do when you look at it. Talk to your neighbors. May not be the first thing you do. You do that. I don't ever do that first, honestly. Obviously, and also too, I don't suggest doing it until you've actually found out all the information. Sometimes if you have enough information, you buy it and then talk to your neighbors, but that kind of defeats the purpose of getting all the information, because if you inform your neighbors you're looking to buy it, usually they don't know that the land is for sale. It's like, well, that land's next to mine. I'd like to buy it and, get ahead of this sucker. So you got to be careful in doing that. Is that the land that I've found that's been epic awesome has been superficially ugly. And when you look at my land, my farmland in southwest Kentucky, it's when you pull up the road, it's like, oh my God, I'm going to get stuck to death by sticker bushes, and it's just, even if you look at it by satellite, you're like, oh, But that farm, my farm, has an enormous barn on it. It has this gorgeous pond, a fantasy forest, quite literally. It has this one rolling slope that's beautiful to stick a house on. It's just absolutely gorgeous. You have to, kind of like a book, you can't judge a... One of my favorite books has the worst title in the world. It would be kind of like someone that avoids the chick that might not be, I hate to make this analogy, she might not be the most beautiful girl in the world, but she might be the best wife in the world. It might have a giant wart on her face or something. I shouldn't make that analogy, but it's like, nobody wants to marry her. They're like, well, she has a big wart, maybe she's not so gorgeous or something, but she might be the best wife in the world. Anyway, that's the really great land I've always found has some sort of make sure it's not too many, and make sure those are not detrimental to you selling it or making use of it. Superficially ugly characteristics. In my farmland, if you just look at it from that one access point, which is the access point everybody went to, and I heard this from the realtor. They said, well, they pulled up and they looked at it and they're like, ugh. Well, I did my homework. I found another access point to my farm. I have two. And there's enormous, gorgeous trees on it. It's beautiful. It's like a fantasy forest. There's this idyllic, incredible pond, and the land that slopes up from my pond is absolutely gorgeous. And the land is just absolutely gorgeous. But from that angle, it's like, ugh. That's about the best way I could express it. And my cabin, too, the access road to it is... It is the same issue when I bought my cabin land. It's superficially off-putting. Kind of like, I don't know, maybe if you... I don't want to draw a comparison between like someone you'd want to date. I keep thinking of someone that... Maybe like me, because I'm fat, bald, and tattooed, but I make a perfect husband. At least my dead wife said so. I'm reliable, I don't cheat, very, very, very great husband. Even all my wife's friends says, oh my God, you've stuck by her through thick and thin. And her cancer, you're like the best husband ever. I can't believe you didn't leave. The land that is like me, I guess. That's kind of a good example. Trustworthy, reliable, not pretty, doesn't have any hair, doesn't have any money, tattooed. It's like, yeah, but I know I can trust that guy. It's kind of like that. So find land that's kind of like me, superficially ugly, but ultimately awesome. And all the land that I've got and the land that I own, that I'm maybe going to farm, depending on this world goes nuts or not, goes completely, crotch out nuts, that kind of nuts. The world is going nuts. It's just going hardcore nuts. Those are the things I recommend. That have always proven to be true. I look for land that other people don't look skin deep past. They're like, ugh, this land. Some land is ugly through and through. I've seen so much land. It's like, oh damn, there's no redeeming characteristic about this land. It's cheap. Yeah, but so what? It's got no redeeming characteristics. It's horrible. It's the reason why nobody wants it. But I did my homework and I found the great land that was superficially ugly. And always talk to your neighbors. That's really the second best tip. Say, what do you know about this? If you have to, even offer to pay them $10. I did that on my farm. I did that on my cabin. I did that on my house in Florida I bought after my wife died. Very cheap house. I got it for $32,000. It's worth a fortune now. Not a fortune, but a whole lot more than I paid for it. These are honest. Like I said, I don't claim to be a land baron or a real estate guru. I'm telling you what frigging works on finding land. Talk to your neighbors. Dig on the land, not literally dig. Some people will look at a land just like the superficial people, because my farm, I never would have got my farm if I was like other people. It's like, oh God, this looks horrible. You just look at it from the quickest, easiest access point. Because it'll say that when they're selling the property, like, this is how you access so-and-so property. You get there, you're like, forget about this. Well, I buckled down And I got into the thick of it. I was crawling any land you buy. In addition to talking to your neighbors, you need to crawl your butt over not every square inch, but essentially every square inch of that land. Do your diligence. You'll find it like, oh my God, this is amazing. Like, geez, my farmland has a spring and a cave, and it's gorgeous, and it's situated here, and it's got this. Or it may have really negative ones, like, toxic waste is flowing in. Not that I've ever encountered that. Because real estate agents don't do their homework. They take a few pictures, they fly a drone, they list it. Yeah, real estate agents are really lazy. Don't trust one of them. Never, ever, ever, ever trust a real estate agent. Okay? You heard me say it. Never trust one. So, that's not saying there aren't some good ones. I know a couple good ones that I've met. One's an old dude, another one's a real estate agent buddy of mine east of Berea. But you have to do your homework. And whatever you do, crawl all over the land. Never take a land at its superficial face value. If you do, you'll be making a mistake. Do your homework. Crawl all over it. Talk to the neighbors. And the last tip is the seller always, they want the money. That's why they're selling it 9 times out of 10. Do not even dare offering close to what they're asking for it. Don't ever. Just say, well, this is my first offer. Come back with a counter. Business is business. You never offer, like, I'll take it. I think I'd like your land or your house. Who does that unless you're filthy rich and you don't care about what it costs? I don't know anybody like that. Never even offer close to it. Like, if they're selling it for 60, offer like 48 or something, and then like, there's this problem with it and that problem with it. That works. Trust me, it works. You'll be surprised what you'll get it for. It's like, don't act like you're that interested in it either. You say, man, I really like, it's like, I'd like to have this, but it's only worth this because it's got this problem and that problem. I've always done that, and that's what everybody else should do too. So once again, I'm not trying to give real estate tips, even though that's what I was doing in this video. But these things have worked for me. They work for me 100%. And they'll work for you too, because I know they work. And I've done it more than once. So anyway, thanks for watching. And goodbye. Today's Sunday. Yes, it is. Yep.